It's a lot of emotions that are being manifest in this season. We have a lot of individuals that are dealing with loss and grief. I know for myself, I've dealt with a wide range of loss and grief within the past couple of weeks. And we just have all these bags of emotions, and we want to bring those to the surface, and we want to just use this platform as an opportunity to speak out and to process. And so today's topic is exactly, what I'm presenting to you. It's about grief, and it's about just taking control and getting involved. And so I hope that everyone is able to benefit in some way. This is actually myself speaking to you personally as I go through my journey. But also we have a guest that's here. You want to introduce yourself? I'm so glad that my guest is here. And I've been waiting to just engage with you. And I know we had some time earlier before coming on to the show to kind of process emotions. And introduce yourself to my listeners.
My name is Kimberly Cecil Jones, and I'm the CEO of Jones Media, and also the sister to Miss Twina, Dr. Bell.
Yes.
Because we're like sorors.
We
and
are.
stuff. Like,
Yes.
oh my God, Kiwi!
Yes, absolutely. Happy feelings in the air. Happy
In the
feelings
air.
everywhere.
Yes.
So we want to talk about laughter. That's what I want to start off with because mixed emotions. Some of the emotions that we feel: anger, sadness, grief. Grief manifests so many different emotions. I mean, one minute you can be okay and you can be navigating throughout your day and things are going well, and then you just find yourself crying and having thoughts about your loved one that you may have lost and just dealing with that process. And I just want to be able to speak out to people today and to help people to understand that grief is a process, and it's circular. It's going round and round and round. It's not a straight line. And so where you are in your process and how you deal with your loss could look very different for me and how I deal with my loss. Can you talk to me a little bit about some feelings that you have as we think about grief?
Yes. One of the hardest things that ever happened for me was 10 years ago. My mom was 61 years old, and I had to take her off of life support. And the day before, she was talking and everything, just like you and I are right now. She had been sick, and a lot of people think that it prepares you more because that person had been sick. Mm-hmm. But I think it still just kind of knocks the wind out of your sails, no matter if they had been sick or someone just came and knocked on your door that someone had an accident and passed on. Day before yesterday was my mom's birthday.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And she would have been 71 years old.
Oh, wow. She's your angel. She's
Yes,
watching over
yes.
you.
I hope not.
Yes.
No.
She's your angel.
I don't want her to see the bad stuff I do. Just let her be up there chilling with God.
Well, she's cheering for you, though.
Okay.
She's
She's cheering for me.
Yes, because remember, it's a process. So life
Mm-hmm.
is a process, and we're ever changing. And I was speaking with someone in my office the other day and explaining to them that you're the owner of your experiences. No one else has your experiences. They're yours. And
That's
we
right.
own our experiences. So regardless of how we navigate through this journey of life, that's one thing that no one can ever take away from you, is your ownership of your own experiences. And through those ownership rights that you have based on your experiences, that's what develops you as the person that you are. So mom is up top and she's cheering you on. However, we may bump our heads sometimes, And we may go through the right door or the wrong door, but all of the experiences are intentionally designed to get you where you need to be so that you can thrive and be equipped with wisdom, knowledge, and truth. I strongly believe that.
I believe that too. I don't know why day before yesterday I was feeling a little sad about my mom. And I know that it took me about 3 years for birthdays and Christmas and Mother's Day that I did not cry. And on that third year, I went through Mother's Day, enjoying my day with my children, my family, all of that. And then later on, I felt a little guilty that night. Oh my God, I didn't really cry about my mom all day. I wasn't down and out all day. What's happened to me? I think some people go through that as well with their grief. But I got over that. I thought to myself, my mom would not want me here just moping around, being depressed and sad. And I think that we all have those moments when something really, really good happens. I wish my mom was here to see this. Or if we're having a difficult time in our lives, I wish I could pick up the phone and call 894-8428. You know, I still remember the number. Because I called it we talk 5 times a day.
And so when you talked about that shift in your emotions, going from sad and 3 years later, you know, those feelings being in a totally different place, and you beginning to feel apologetic, okay, what am I doing here? So that's a part of your healing process. And, you know, it takes years to get where you need to be, where you're complete. It's an ongoing process, to be honest with you. But you will have those feelings of sadness, and then they will begin to shift and manifest. And I'll just use myself as an example. I just lost my grandfather. We buried him on last Friday.
Condolences to you and your family.
Thank you very much. And we're so grateful and so thankful for all the love and the support that we received from the community at large. It was just very, very appreciated. But about my grandfather is my grandfather raised me. So you talked about losing your parent. The emotions that I have associated with that is kind of twofold. So from one standpoint, we went through that process, was able to spend a lot of time with him and just kind of embrace him as he went through his last stages of life. However, on the other side of that, as we have to move forward in our own endeavors, I'm able to have an experience, because you don't want to hold those feelings in. So if I feel a need to cry, and that's what I tell my patients too, we want you to be able to cry, because we don't want those feelings that are your feelings to turn into something else because you didn't give them the opportunity to manifest themselves. So if you need to cry, if you need to smile, if you need to laugh, whatever emotion is presented for you, we want you to be able to allow that emotion to show itself, and whatever action is behind that emotion, just let it out. But on the flip side of that, in reference to today, the topic is grief. I know that we have a lot of people that are grieving in this season, so I can be sad because my grandfather's not here physically with me. I know spiritually he is. However, it's also an opportunity for me to begin and continue to build his legacy and extend his legacy by impacting others. And so that's where my smile is manifest, and that's why I'm able to sit here one week from the day that I buried him and feel proud to really talk about what needs to be talked about and those emotions. So for your mom, she's watching over you, and there may have been some hiccups, but she's right there cheering you on. And yes, we want to get back to a comfortable, balanced level of functioning, but we also want to understand and want others to understand that our feelings are our feelings. And if I want to cry on Monday, and then Tuesday I'm thinking about the time that he took me to the beach and I learned to swim, and that skill has stayed with me, and I'm going to giggle about that. There's so many emotions that's involved with the grieving process.
That is so true. And I'm the type of person, when something's going on with my mom, when, it was very dramatic, and you see, the stats, the heartbeat, the breathing, you see everything just going down, and that moment is there. I suffered for like a year, saying to myself, if I would have just kept her on there for 15 more minutes, would she still be here? You just kept her on there for 30 more minutes, would she still be here? However, I'm always the type of person that I deal with stuff. I'm comforting everyone else. I'm not crying, really. I'm taking care of all this business.
Yes.
And then, I'm rushing to get the program together. I'm rushing to get her house cleared out. I'm rushing to do all of this. I'm comforting her friends, my son, my daughter, my uncle, all of that. And then afterwards, after everything is calmed down, after everybody's kind of gone back doing their thing, that's when I cry.
Yes. And that's okay. And the thing about it is, it sounds like you showed a lot of compassion to your guests, to the people that supported you, to your family members. You showed them compassion. And so one of the things that I want to recommend also for you and for myself, it's okay to show self-compassion for yourself. It's okay for you to do your self-care, for you to sit down and meditate. And when you think about self-compassion, a lot of times we're like, well, I take care of everybody else. I'm not going to take care of, myself in that manner because I have to take care of everyone else. We have to shift that. We have to change that. We have to give ourselves the opportunity to heal and to be balanced and have compassion for yourself. Just like you would of a child. If you were crossing the street and there was a child that needed your assistance to get across the street, would you second guess that? Would you think twice, or would you go help that child?
Immediately help the child.
Okay. When you think about self-compassion, I want you to think from that same context. You have to immediately step in and help yourself and be your own advocate and take care of yourself and really come face forward when you talk about issues and emotions and actions that's related to dealing with grief of a family member.
Do you think, Dr. Bell, that some of that comes from that old school training when you are an African American woman? Mm-hmm. And I'm a bit older than you. I know I look young though, y'all. I look young though, but I'm really old.
It's nothing but a number.
Yeah, that number is kind of up there though. But what I want to say is I grew up with my grandparents basically as well. Okay. Yes. So there was a lot of wisdom that was instilled in me, as I'm sure it was instilled in you as well. And some of those traditional values. Growing up as an African American woman in my family, you had to be strong. You had to take care of your family. You were put on the back burner. So the things that you're saying to me now, I need your assistance with. And I'm sure there's so many people listening to this that need your assistance and need your voice every week to help them in that way. Because I think predominantly Black women, we've been taught really not to take care of ourselves. And self-care, where do I start? By just lounging in the tub or polishing my nails or doing a facial? I do that, but I do it on the run. Mm-hmm. But how do I get to self-care? And when I'm grieving, how do I get to self-care when someone has hurt me? Because sometimes you can grieve like in a marriage, a divorce.
Absolutely.
I mean, I cried my my eyes out. And people said, well, you didn't need him anyway. But what they didn't understand, Dr. Bell, I wasn't crying about that man. I didn't want that man back.
Right.
I was crying about the promises made, the